welcome back guys. So if you look at the previous video, what was happening, there was two object which has a data details and there was two object which has a data test, but both was getting inserted, though we had though hash map will actually overrides hashcode and equals method, but that was not taking care because uh, we were storing the custom object. Inside the custom object we had the same data. So now for the custom object hashcode will be different, and of course when the hashcode is different it will add a new node, which I have shown you through diagram also, through program also. Now how we can achieve such kind of scenario? Like I have a requirement, okay, in that requirement whenever I will get two objects with the same record, I should not add that in the map. So whenever such kind of requirement will come, how you will do that? Let's say you have a custom object, okay, you need to store the custom object in your map, and also at the same time you need to make sure that object should not have the same data. That you can achieve by overriding hashcode and equals method, right? You need to override now hashcode and equals method. So if I'll let me comment this. Generally I told you how you can override any class. If you want to override, yes, you can do that. You do hashcode, click on this. By default the hashcode will get overridden here. So this is the default implementations of hashcode. Similarly you can write equals, click enter, okay. This is the default implementations of equals, right? So just write EQU, control spacebar and click on the first options. Okay, I did a bit fast, maybe you will get confused. EQ, control spacebar and click on the first one. Okay, this is the equals. So this method got overridden here, which came from the object class. Now you can write your own logic here. Same thing I did basically. If you look at I overrided the both, and now just to show you I am overriding the, see, generally to achieve the uniqueness you have to override both. If you override just one you cannot achieve the uniqueness. That also I will show you. Okay, so you should always override both hashcode also and equals method also. Now if you look at in the hashcode, now no more I am relying on the hashcode how my map class will generate, rather I am generating my own. So I am saying that whenever you will store data into the map, okay, and through object, what data I am storing? I am storing the string data, and this is again, this is a custom class, right? This is a custom class which has parameterized constructor. So whenever you will create object and whenever you will try to store, so whenever you try to store, first for the key which you are going to store in the map, first hashcode for the key will get generated. Always it will generate for first hashcode for the key. I can show you. So when you click on control, click on put method, so look at here, first what it will do, it will always generate the hash for the key. So key is nothing but your custom object, so it will always generate the hash key. So when you click on the hash, so this is the default implementations of hashing, right? You can see that here it is calling hashcode, key.hashcode. So it is basically generating the hashcode for the key. Now since I am overriding in my class itself, now so what will happen, it will come here, and from that string wherever we will try to add, from the data I am taking character at 0 because it's a string data, right? I can take character at 0. This is one way of implementations. You can override this hashcode. You can write your custom implementations by n number of ways. It's up to you. Here I have to explain you, so I have taken this example. So I am doing that character at 0, and then I am getting the integer corresponding integer value for that. Okay, so whenever any character, if you will cast with the integer, it will give you the integer number for that corresponding character. Okay, so when I do character at 0 and when I do end, this is the hash and this I am returning. So now this is my hash code, so I am overriding the hash code. Again in the equals method which I have shown you just now, so what was the default method of equals? EQU, control spacebar. Okay, since it is already there, it will not allow me to override. So what I will do, I will comment EQU, control spacebar. Yeah, click on this, and now see, this is the default implementations where your object, only your object will get compared. Okay, comment this now. So in default implementations only object will get compared, The problem is if you just compare the object, you will never make out if the object has different data or not. See here also, this is the new object, okay, this is the new object, but both the object had data is equal to Bhanu test. So if you just compare the object, you will get false, it will not give you true, because object is different, data inside the data, inside the object data is different, but the sorry inside the data, so inside the object data is different, but both are different object, right? So now you need to override the equals method. So the same whatever parent class will give you, what I am just overriding with is, I am saying that in this equals compare my data. So whatever data which I am going to insert, whatever I am going to insert the data, you compare that data with the data which is already present in the map. So basically this I am doing that the typecasting. So how do you do a typecasting? So let's say you have this, right? I want this object to be converted to my cast. So that's how it is you do, right? Typecasting. You convert the object to your object. That's how in general you do typecasting, and then once it is typecasted, I am calling that data. So now this object is of my class type, I can call this data, right? That's what I did here, right? So till here if you look at, that's what it is, it's a data, right? And this data, what I'm trying to do, I am comparing this data with the string data now, right? So from the object now I'm comparing both object data, right? So you can see that data is equal to this, right? So I'm comparing the data now, right? I did a typecast, I have to do typecast because I need to convert object into my this class type, I need to call the data, and once I have the data which is still here, okay, I'm calling that is equal, right? Equal. So I think you can remove this one, is probably not required, yeah. So even though you'll keep it, it's okay, because everything you are wrapping to the curly braces, that is also fine, it's not a problem, okay. So now what happens, the data compare will happen. Now if you look at, okay, here the Bhanu test will not get added 2 times, because whenever the data compare will happen, this equals method will get called, and this guy will not allow you to insert the second record basically. So I'll do one thing, on the equals I'll put a breakpoint. Let me enable the breakpoint, click here to enable the breakpoint, I have disabled, okay, and I have one breakpoint here, I have one breakpoint here, and in the hash code I am not keeping the breakpoint anyways, okay. So first I will not run in the debug, I will just run like this, run as Java applications, and you can see that only 3 entry, key is equal to Pratap, value 20, hash code 112, index is equal to 7, then key is equal to Bhanu, value 10, hash code 98, index 8, then Bhanu test, value 40, and hash code is equal to 8, right? So you can see that only 3 record got inserted, right? See this Bhanu test value is equal to 40, right? It got inserted, it did not get it got overridden, basically this 30 got overridden by 40. How this happened? Now let me run in the debug mode so that you will understand very well. Right click, debug as Java applications, proceed. So let me go from here, okay, it has started. So your debug came here. So why it went there? Because you know I am putting a breakpoint here, so on that object creations it will get called on the object creations. So click on this F6, first got inserted, no problem, this equals did not get called, okay, second no problem, did not get called, third, see now what happens when you have stored Bhanu test. So basically what happens, let me do one thing, let me enable this one also, hash code, okay. Now stop this and let me run. Now we can understand. Yeah, press F8, go F6 here. What is the hash code for the Bhanu? It's 98, right? So what is the hash code for the Bhanu? 98. It got inserted. Press F6. What is the hash code for Pratap? 112, because I have overridden the hash code here, and every time hash code is also getting called. I did not put a debug point here. You can put a debug point if you want to see that. I'm printing the hash code, and this is my custom hash code, so it is very small, 112. Now Pratap got inserted. Now what will happen here is press F6. See, now what is the hash code for Bhanu test? 98. Already one hash code was there with 98. For Bhanu also hash code is 98. For Bhanu test also hash code is 98. Why it came like this? Because for Bhanu the starting character is B. For Bhanu test also a starting character is B. Clear? So we are generating the hash code based on the starting character. So hash code will be the same. So now when the hash code is same, now go to the put method, guys. Try to understand. Go to the put method. It will generate the hash and whatever key you have. So it will go to the put value. Now what happened? Your hash code is same now. When the hash code is same, and when you are overriding the equals method, now this will come to the picture. Okay, this will come to the picture because you have overridden the equals method. Now it will try to compare your object. Okay, when you are not overriding the equals method, it will just compare the object here itself, right? It will compare the, but you have overriding the equals method here. So what happened? First it compared the object also. Actually if you look at this, already this object compare happened. So both the object got, it will get compared. Okay, what object will get compared? First this will get compared. So if you look at here, this object was Bhanu. Okay, so this object is different. Now the Bhanu test, this object is different. So what happens? That conditions will not be fulfilled. So though you are overriding the equals, but first what will happen? This will get compared, guys. So this was not fulfilled. Okay, the key, the object key which is already present in the memory is the Bhanu. Okay, it is not Bhanu test, it is the Bhanu, different object. So and it will compare with the latest one, which is Bhanu test. So both the object is not same, right? Then we have a OR operator. Then it will come to the equals method. Like if at all you are overriding the equals. If you will not override the equals method, and when you press control and click on equals, see this also will finally will check object only. It will just compare both the object which is already there in the map and the object you are going to store. Okay, since you have overridden this method in your class, now it will check your implementations. Method overriding concept, you know, right? This is the same concept. You are overriding it. So when you are overriding it, when you when you place mouse over there, then look at this. This is your object. Okay, this is your old object which is already there in the memory. That's what I was trying to say, that this is the old object where the data was Bhanu. Now this is your old object which is there in the memory. You can see that this data was Bhanu, right? Now what is the current data? So this data is Bhanu test, because you are storing this data. You are going to store this data, Bhanu test. So what is this data? Bhanu test. So now though the hash code is same, 98, okay, it will check the object was not same. Then there was OR operator. So it went here, it went to the OR operator, and now it is calling equals method. Since you have overridden the equals method, it will call and it will check for the data. So data is equal to here Bhanu test, and here what is the data you have in this? Bhanu. So it will not be the same. So this is false. When this is false, it will not override the object, it will insert the object. Okay, on the same bucket it will insert. Click on F6, just press on F8. Okay, so you can see that this object also got inserted. Now your map has this object also. Okay, yeah, so your map has this object also. Now why I'm saying that, if you'll go to your this map, I should have put one debug point here so that we can see that. Anyways, we'll see later. Now what happened, you look at here, again Bhanu test came here. So again for Bhanu test, again same thing, hash code will be 98. The reason is again Bhanu test starting with B, so your hash code is going to be 98, again 98. Again what will happen, it would have compared already this object and this object, this both the object is different, both the object is different. So it will go for the, when the both the object is different, so this conditions did not fulfilled. Okay, these conditions did not fulfilled, then it came to the equals. When it came to the equals, we are overriding the equals. Now in this object, what sorry, yeah, this is 98, again this is 98. So on 98, again if you look at here, what is the data, Bhanu. Okay, and what is this data, Bhanu test. So press F6. Why I am putting debug point here, I should not have done it. Okay, and press F8. Okay, so I think the same was getting executed till now, it was not a different one, same was getting executed. Now I think this will come to the picture. Okay, when you press F6, oh god, again went there. Now if you look at here, this data is getting inserted now. Okay, this data is getting inserted now. So when you just, oh again Bhanu test, I think internally it makes a lot of time, it will make this call. Okay, internally to check that. Again press F6, all data got inserted, you did not get a chance to see that. But anyway, I will show you, since I was running in the debug mode multiple times, this hash code calculations equals method check will happen. But if you run that, you can see the final output. Okay, now look at the final output. Let me comment this one also, right? Because anyways in the debug I have shown you, by looking the output, now you can make it very clear like what is happening. Look at this, only 3 data. So when Bhanu came, hash code was 98 when Bhanu came. When Pratap came, the hash code was 1112. So no comparison, no equals method will not get called at all, because hash code itself is a different. Now when Bhanu test came, when the Bhanu test came first time, the hash code was 98. Yes, there was already one hash code 98. Okay, now equals method will get kicked in. So the equals method, it will check for the data for the existing object as well as for the new data which you are going to store. So the new data is nothing but when you are creating the object, through this object, whatever object you are creating now, through which this data will get initialized. So your this data will be Bhanu test, and what you had in the memory, Bhanu. So this Bhanu and Bhanu test will get compared. This will be false, it will not override, it will insert. So that is the reason it got inserted. Why? Because I am printing here key, so I am able to figure out. Now again what happened, this Bhanu test again came. Now again for the Bhanu test, starting character is the B, so hash code will be same, hash code will be 98. So again the hash code will be 98, then again equals method will kicked in because hash code is same, right? So the moment if you look at the moment, what happens is when the hash code is same, as I have shown you a lot of times, so the moment hash is same, it will compare the object. So object is always different guys, because we are using that new operator, right? So always the object will be different. So when the object is different, it will go for the equals. So since we have overridden the equals method, when you don't override, when you click on control, click on equals, it will just compare the object, it will just compare the object, nothing else. So this guy also will give you false only, sorry, this guy will give you false only, right? So when you compare the object, okay, but at the same time, since the data is same, I don't want to insert, so that guy will give false. But here what will happen, I am overriding it, so it will compare my data. So Bhanu test will be equal to Bhanu test, and this will give me true. So So the moment this will give me true, so what happens? Look at here now. This was true. Okay. This guy came true. So this is OR conditions, right? Either this true or this true and this true. If then this, then override the data. Then override the data. So when this came, the data got overridden by 40. That is the reason if you look at Bhanu test value is equal to 40. Got overridden, right? So you are clear now. Here also, as I told in my previous video, we need to create index, because based on the index we can store the data into the bucket. Okay. Again, we need to divide the hash code by we need to do a modulus of 15, because you know that we are creating of size of bucket of 15, just to make you understand. Okay, real time there will be a lot more things happens. So here just try to understand, there is a bucket of size 16 starting from 0 to 15. So whatever hash code will come, whatever hash code can come more than that, right? Hash code you are getting 98, 112. So whatever hash code will come, any number, if you do a modulus of 15, you will get a range, you will get an index between 0 to 15. It will never cross that, okay, thumb rule. So we have to do a modulus. When you do a modulus, you can see that on two index 8, there is a collision. One key is value and one is Bhanu test. So there is a collision. So first Bhanu will be there, right, on that index, and then Bhanu test came. So there is a collision, and on index 7 there is a Pratap. Okay, so how this will look like, I have made a diagram for that. Probably I can explain you. So look at here. Here Pratap value is equal to 20, hash code 112, index is equal to 7. So on 7 index, one node will get inserted 112. Okay, and you can see that key is equal to Pratap, value is equal to 30. So one node will get inserted. This is your bucket 0 to 15, right? This is your bucket. Now what will happen? When key is equal to Bhanu, value is equal to 10, hash code is equal to 98, index is equal to 8. So on one index 8, one node will get inserted. Here the address of the node is 98, key is equal to Bhanu, value is equal to 20. See guys, this is just for your representations. Okay, just I have made this diagram so that you can understand what happens internally. It is not like the same, like that's how the data will be inserted. Okay, this is just a pictorial representations. Just try to understand the concept. Okay, so again when key Bhanu test came, value is equal to 40, hash code is equal to 98, and index is equal to 8. Okay, index is equal to 8. So there is a collision now, right? On the same index you have already Bhanu test is coming. So when there is a collision, so what it will do, first it will check for the hash code is same. Okay, hash code is same. So when the hash code is same, it will call for the equals method. It will call for the equals method. So we are calling the equals method. In the equals method, we are comparing the data. So in the equals method, when we are comparing the data is not same. Here data is equal to Bhanu, here it is a Bhanu test. So that is the reason, if you look at now, this is Bhanu test. So what will happen? One more node will get inserted after this first node, and this first node now point to the second node. So now once you insert the second node, here 98 will come here. Okay, because your first node will keep the reference of second node, and your index 8 will keep the reference of first node. Here index 7 also will keep the reference of first node, and this guy will point to null, this guy will also point to null. So that's how guys internally hash map works. Okay, and that's how by overriding hash code and equals method we can avoid the duplicate data in the object. See, to be very honest, if you don't override here equals method, let's say you would have overridden only hash code, you have not overridden the equals method, you know one thing, all four data will get inserted. Because what will happen for all four data, okay, though there is a same hash code, for two data there will be a same hash code, because we are overriding that, but decisions are not taken only by looking the hash code, right? I have shown you in the implementations. See, decisions are not taken by just looking the hash code is the one parameter. Okay, hashing is the one parameter, the other parameter is object and equals method. So it will check for the object also, it will check for the equals method. If you are overridden, it will check for the equals also. So only the decision is not taken by looking the hash code. So the reason is, when you don't have this equals method overridden here, when you don't override it, you cannot achieve the uniqueness in the object data. You cannot, everything will get inserted. So anyways, I will show you in my next video. There I will show you, there I will not override the equals method, and we will see that how report will change. Thank you guys, thank you for watching this.